Mike Koval just revealed the production version of the Ram 1500. I guess Rev is the name. It's not just Ram 1500 EV. It's a Rev.
Ram Rev.
So
say it 5 times, Jamie.
Ram Rev. If I repeat it, it'll become that feel natural after.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, I'll keep working on that. So 500 miles of range, up to 500, 350 on the base, 500 for the long, and then promises of an extended range beyond that. Why would people need more than 500 miles of range?
I think we want to make sure we think about our mantra, built to serve, right? We want to make sure we can serve, whether it's you're out daily driving to and from work or whether you've got a horse trailer behind you. We want to make sure we've got a solution for all our customers of today and for tomorrow. So that's why multiple battery packs for different customer lifestyles, and for sure.
So are we talking about an even bigger battery that could go 700, 800 miles?
I have to let Koval hold. I have to hold and let Koval share the details on that as much as I want to. But for sure, we've got some really great engineering work that's ready to be launched as well. That I think is going to be super exciting for the Ram customer.
Well, yeah, because the term like extended range reminds me of the old range extender idea of an onboard generator to charge the battery.
Yeah.
So it could be that.
Could be.
Among the engineering solutions.
Right.
So let me ask you another one about the Ram. You know, the other EV pickups, at least among the Detroit 3, have had this sort of two-pronged approach. A super high-end truck that's 6 figures and is loaded with everything they can think of, and then a more, I don't want to say modest price, but something closer to a well-equipped regular truck price. You guys seem to have a little different strategy, not so much two-pronged, but more together.
Yeah, I think if you look at where we are today, is probably a great predictor of where we will likely be in the future as well, where we've got DS Classic, we've got the DT, and then we've got the TRX, right? So we also cover a full range with today's ICE powertrains. As we look to tomorrow, right? This is the start of our entry into the BEVs, and I think you'll wind up seeing Koval coming forward with a full lineup very similar to what we have in today's world as well. So
I was so excited in January seeing the concept at CES. It had so many cool features to it, and here we are just 3 months later, and you've dashed all my hopes. There's no Roomba to charge itself. There's no, pass-through for giant pieces of wood. There's no follow me autonomous mode, or at least they weren't promised today. Are those things that we might still see in actual production?
No, absolutely. We'll see those in production over time, right? So the whole point was just to show all the things our engineering team is working on to bring into serial production. But step one is that comfort zone of today's customer and what people need in this transitionary period, which is, I love my Ram. I want to make sure that Ram looks like my Ram today with all the comforts, with all the features, with all the best-in-class tick the box. And so that was step one for us for that, while looking to that aspirational side of the Revolution concept.
I mean, obviously, the Enterprise in Auburn Hills is no longer related to the guys in Stuttgart, but that 3-screen front reminds me more of a Mercedes than the high-end electric Mercedes like an EQS than really anything else on the market.
Well, we really have gotten off, and I like to refer it to our Jeep lineup, right? Because our Grand Cherokees and our Wagoneer Grand Wagoneers all have that 3-screen concept already in production. So it's really taking that Uconnect system of our R series into the truck world. That's why we were great to get on this new Atlantis architecture so that we could do that.
Okay, so also today we have some Jeep news. Refreshed Wrangler. You are a bit of a Wrangler guy. Are you excited about this?
I am super excited about it. As excited as I am about driving my 75 CJ5 as driving this 2024 version of the Wrangler. We've got a 12.3 inch screen in the middle. We have earth-shattering power seats. Everybody's like, really? Are you really going to do it? But it's all the water fording is there, no worries. But it was time. No shorts, all good, right? But it was time to do that. But really excited for that.
Speaking of Jeep, Are you worried at all about the Wagoneer and its reception in the marketplace? Yesterday, JD Power was talking about at the JD Power event. They were talking about vehicles that have finally kind of outpriced consumer demand for luxury, or at least that the vehicles on lots are on average this MSRP is $5,000 higher than what's selling right now, which is kind of unusually high gap. Of course, we had seen for so long is like the more you could add, especially on a truck or a SUV, the more people wanted it.
Yeah.
And has the market finally kind of overshot that, and is the Wagoneer maybe the poster child for that?
No, absolutely. I don't think so. We started ramping that quite slowly. We were not pleased with where we were in terms of the plant and cleaning up some of our engineering stuff and getting ready for the long wheelbase. So we took a time out. We specifically took a month to organize ourselves, get ready for the L launch, make sure the quality was perfect. And so we're ramping that volume up now. And, over this last year of us not being in that marketplace for more than 30 years, we're at 10% market, from 0 to 10% market share. And so when we look across that, we're really using with our analytics team, really looking to the feature sets that are most important, not important across our whole lineup, by the way, to make sure. But I think absolutely not. When and that's why things like New York Auto Show are great. Butts in seats sell vehicles, and in particular, it sells a Wagoneer, Grand Wagoneer, because people are like, oh, I remember that. My dad had one. My grandpa had one. My grandma had one. And then they get in this one. It's like, oh, wow. It's not your dad's Wagoneer, right? It has all the fun of it, but the luxury of that is absolutely outstanding. And once people sit, they buy.
If they can afford it. It is not a car for.
We've got a full lineup on it, Jamie, as well, right? Because it can be in the 70s up to just over 100. So there's a wide range there. We've got 3 different series across the 2 models.
So, in general, how did you feel about first quarter sales, and what do you think about the year ahead? I mean, Stellantis and Toyota had kind of the 2 bummer results for the first quarter. Is that what was going on there?
Yeah, in terms of the, we're not overly pleased with exactly where our share was. We were 2% a point off of this time last year. Last year, quarter one was absolutely outstanding for us at 12% versus the 10.1 we came in at. But we had this time last year, we had the old Grand Cherokee and the new Grand Cherokee running at the same time. So that was a big chunk of that, and then We've had a few of the stops that we've had to do in correcting a past recall issue on heavy duty. So those 2 things slowed us down a bit in quarter one comparatively. But what's great is we're ramping the 4xe version of Grand Cherokee, and that is really taking on with the market share. And so we're feeling very good about actually getting to the right level of share that we're going for. We're sitting at just right at 14%, I think, total on Grand Cherokee. And we want to get that above 15%. So, but in terms of our discipline for pricing, for profitability, for at the same time making sure we've got the right trim mixes in the marketplace for customers, we've done a little bit of adjusting on the trim mix with the inflationary times so that things are affordable for the customers.
Right. Yeah. It kind of stood out even in the press release. Jeff Comer talked about making the necessary adjustments. Could that be, reducing production or increasing incentives, or is it more about a mix of trim levels?
Neither of those 2 things, right? That's just the normal course of business for us, right? Is we speed up or we slow down to make sure we're in the right window that we want to be in on inventory. But it's really looking to, as we come into a more inflationary environment, of looking at the affordability for folks with the change in the interest rates and so forth. So it is, we were a little bit heavy on the higher end of the trim mixes across some of the platforms. So we made sure that we're putting more to the entry and mid-level trim mixes in. So that's what Jeff meant by that adjustment.
And that's also consistent really with what JD Power was kind of suggesting. I didn't mean to put words in their mouth about blaming the Wagoneer, but that a lot of it was trim levels that were skewing to the high end, and we need to bring some more.
Yeah, because the last couple of years, especially with the microchip shortages and so forth, most folks have been running on the higher trim. We obviously have as well, but pulsing what the customers are looking for. But we're probably 60 days. 60 days prior, we probably should have adjusted that mix a little bit more than we did. but had a very strong finish to March, so feeling good about it.
Okay. And you feel good about the second quarter and the rest of the year?
We are knock feeling good.
Okay.
From an industry standpoint, industry still seems to be hanging in there, right? And from that standpoint, we're excited about our lineup of product and making sure that we're getting all that around the country with the right mix for the customers.
Okay. So I have to ask you about the UAW. Sean Fain got elected president last week, finally. And are you concerned that he and his team have such a belligerent attitude, or that their rhetoric has been so hot that it's going to be hard to reach a deal or get anything ratified by the members?
I think the past is the best predictor of the future, and what we have shown together. And what's great is Sean grew up in the house of Stellantis brands, if you will, with different nameplates, as did Rich Boyer, and want to give them a big congratulations for both of them for winning. And what's nice is they know the workings of the companies, particularly Stellantis, because they grew up in Stellantis. But looking at the last 10 years since coming out of bankruptcy for us, the hand-in-hand partnership that we've had together with UAW of being quite the underdog into being, a force to be reckoned with in a very humble way, but a very proud way. We've done that through working together, and I feel very confident. We feel very confident we're going to find ways to do that. And a case in point, it's absolutely, I think everybody was really pleased. I know we were when our UAW members had, $14,760 in the profit share check, more than the other guys. And that's because of our partnership and working together. So I really feel like that, they're getting settled into their new roles. They understand how we work, and we all know we've got to be viable together. We win together. That's how we do it.
Yeah, I mean, there have been successes, but obviously, not without damage. I mean, people going to prison on both sides, both from Stellantis, from FCA and from the UAW. So not a perfect track record of history there.
No, absolutely not. But that's been many years, right? And there's been a lot of things that have changed, obviously, in the UAW. But at the heart of the matter, it's about our people on the shop floor, right? It's about the Stellantis family members. And from that standpoint, the Stellantis family members are all committed. We're all committed together for the company to be successful. And I am absolutely confident we're going to do that together.
The issue of Belvedere was raised several times. I think seems like there's a lot of anxiety in the UAW about its fate. I mean, it seems like Illinois is eager to provide assistance. We know the U.S. government is eager to help companies make investments, especially for EVs. Are you hopeful? Are you still hopeful that Belvedere has a future beyond?
It's the reason we absolutely took that decision to idle. Right, that architecture was quite old. Looking to the competitiveness, lack of chips, the future for EV, we are very diligently going after finding other use cases for that plant. And so but what we're very proud of, we had jobs throughout the networks. Every one of our UAW members was offered a job as close to home as possible, so that no one had to be laid off if they didn't want to. If they wanted to relocate, they absolutely could. Right. And many have.
Right. So I know we're getting a little short on time, but I don't want to forget to ask you about battery plants.
Yeah.
2 down, still 2 to go. Is 4 still probably the right amount?
2 down, 2 to go. Later this year, we should be in the right position to announce our third one. We're going through that process right now. We'll be a little bit later in terms of the announcing of a fourth one. But our anticipation is late 26, early 27 of kind of starting and ramping into full production in 27 for that third plant.
For the third plant. Right. Of course, I woke up this morning to see the Wall Street Journal story that you might be partnering with BMW and Panasonic. Any comment on that?
No comments right now. Right, we're still talking with all the potential partners. So.
And, do you have any opinion on what kind of chemistry? You already have 2 different partners for the 2 plants announced. If it was Panasonic, it would be a third one with a different type of battery. Does any of that matter to you, or are they all interchangeable enough?
No, the designs need to be such that we're able to interchange within the vehicle sets, right? And so what's really important to us, and Carlos has shared this in the past as well, is is that we have the ability in our plants, whether it's joint venture plants, whether it's purchase batteries, either way, of being able to very easily change to the next generation of chemistry, because next gens of chemistry are going to give range, hopefully going to give better affordability. And it's all about the affordability for our customers to have the products that are affordable. And as we shared, in an ideal state, right, doubling that density of the battery chemistry, so that the batteries are smaller, they're lighter, they're more efficient in cost. In the end, will help all the consumers be able to afford that and be comfortable in that tech.
You're, probably a lot more. You know the engineering 100 times more than I do. But the platforms that you guys have, the 4 Stella platforms, they're adaptable to various battery technologies.
Yeah, so between small, medium, large, and the frame, all of them are multi-energy platforms, which is great. So it means that during this transitionary time, because even as we get to 2030, we're anticipating 50+% BEVs here in the North America market or the U.S. market, but 50% are going to be classic powertrains and hybrid powertrains. So those designs are absolutely interchangeable. As we have retooled the factories, such as we started Mack plant, so we've retooled Jefferson, as we'll be doing with other plants as well. They're capable of handling a classic ICE power plug-in hybrid or hybrid, as well as a battery, all down the same line.
Do you see an ongoing role for plug-in hybrids? I mean, the 4xe doing well, but it seems like it's really like you guys and Toyota, it seems like, are the only, it's really been the PHEV game.
I would refer to the consumers on it, Jamie, which says we're sold out of Wranglers again this year of every battery we can get. So, yeah, we are humbly proud, shall we say, that #1 selling plug-in hybrid, and there's a reason for that. It eliminates range anxiety. We get the best of all worlds. For the folks running around town, they rarely ever have to gas up. Somebody's on a longer trip, they've got peace of mind they can get there. And I think at this time, for a lot of our consumers, for a lot of the market, it's a comfortable technology that people are like, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, it is so doable, especially even for a one-car family, right? And that's always kind of been the thing so far. To have an EV, you have to have 2 or 3 vehicles and a garage you can charge it in. But the 4xe and other plug-in hybrids are just so much more flexible.
It is, and as I mentioned before, we're scaling Grand Cherokee 4xe right now. It has very quickly moved into the #2 position for plug-in hybrid, with Pacifica right behind that. And then we've got we have 2 new friends coming to the market this year. Right, the Dodge Hornet is coming in an ICE and a plug-in hybrid, and Alpha Tonale, so the first of our new Alphas in quite a while, is coming in a plug-in hybrid as well. So we're excited to add those 2 to the lineup as well.
So in the electrification, I mean, I know Carlos Tavares has talked about this in different venues, but how do you guys work through that imposing cost hurdle? How do you try to approach it as a team, as a management team?
It's just that relentless focus on cost of finding things and finding ways, whether it's our transformation cost in the plant, it's the amount of diversity or complexity is a better way to say it, across the individual nameplate lineups, make things simpler for the plants to run, have less parts, be able to have greater scale. And I think the greatest thing of 2 smaller companies coming together into a pretty sizable powerhouse is having those 4 common platforms makes a huge difference in terms of our ability to bring things to market in a much more affordable way, from a capital standpoint, engineering, R&D standpoint, and then ultimately the cost structure that goes into those. So we got the volume behind it.
Okay, and so you're hopeful, you're optimistic, you can get to make profitable EVs without needing some magic breakthrough like solid state batteries or anything like that?
So we have great governance on that. Every month we sit with Carlos and each of our teams around the world, and we're looking at what is the profitability of a battery electric platform compared to a plug-in hybrid, compared to a classic ICE. And what we've already demonstrated in Europe across the 20+ models there is they are as profitable as the ICE powertrains in Europe. So that gives us a very, very good positive feel, or peace of mind, if you will, that we'll be able to do the same on future platforms.
But the situation is a little different. I mean, at least it doesn't mean you feel like problem solved. We've won.
No, problem never solves. It's automotive where you always got to dig at it every year, every minute of every day of every year. It's how we're wired, right? It's as an industry, that's it. It's about improving cost efficiency and everything that we do.
All right. Thank you so much, Mark.
Thank you.